Hello, my name is Heidi, and I'm excited to introduce you to our new technology plan for the Fort Worth City Library. Brianne, Raven, Sophia, Patricia, and I at the library have put this plan together to share with you. Through our belief in and mandate for social justice, we have discovered that the immigrants in the city of Fort Worth have needs that the library can meet. Through various means of reaching out, we have been able to hear directly from the immigrants in the library and the community about their plight. Together with them, we have been able to come up with a plan to address their situation. One of the immigrants, Lydia, says that she heard that the library was a good place to start, so it was her first point of contact when she arrived in the city. Carlos is excited about the plan because he thinks it's going to help him find a job to support his growing family so that he doesn't have to be a burden to anyone, is what he hopes. And Sunju is really excited about the plan because she hopes to help with other students that arrive in the city that are alone and they can barely speak the language. So now we are asking you to join Sunju, Carlos, Lydia, and the five of us in helping to bring this exciting opportunity to expand our goals and reach in our community, to help bring these vulnerable people the needs that they need and resources. This is an opportunity for good that we feel holds value, not just for these immigrants, not just for our library, but for our whole city and our whole community. It's our objective to meet people where they are and to connect them with how to achieve their needs and goals. Our focus as librarians is to provide a safe and reliable space for anyone to learn and improve. Our vision for the future is a library filled with people of all diversities, a community center where individuals share and volunteer their gifts to help all people, and a place to match, support, and encourage one another with information and knowledge for their best possible success. So we thank you for your time and attention, and we look forward to sharing the rest of our plan with you.
My name is Brianne Gilroy, and I will be talking about the background and current environment of our technology plan. We created this technology plan for the Fort Worth, Texas Central Branch. Fort Worth is the fifth largest city in Texas with a population of 874,000 people and hosts 16 libraries within its branch system. The Central Branch is the largest and most centrally located of these. As of the 2010 census, 61% of Fort Worth's population is white, 34% is Hispanic or Latino, 19% is Black, and 4% is Asian. Of the almost 200,000 households in the city, 35% of them have children under the age of 18. 46% are married couples living together, and 29% of households were made up of just one individual. The largest segment of the population by age is 25 to 44-year-olds, comprising 33% of the population. The median household income is $37,000, putting about 12.7% of families and 15.9% of the population below the poverty line. The Fort Worth area has significant population that speaks Spanish, as well as a large population that speaks Vietnamese. The Central Branch Library specifically also serves an English-speaking population that frequently provides service to and interacts with Spanish and Vietnamese speakers, so supporting community members in learning those languages is important as well. One of the Fort Worth Central Branch's strategic goals is to improve services for immigrants and non-English speakers and to increase access to technology opportunities for those populations. This technology plan has been created to address this goal. The Fort Worth Central Branch is the largest in the Fort Worth system with 243,000 square feet and circulates almost 500,000 materials annually. It has 80 staff members, and many of the divisions in Fort Worth's library system are housed in this branch. Their most frequent users are young professionals and families with young children, and their least frequent users are teens and senior citizens, as those populations most often visit the more suburban branches that are typically closer to them. Users who visit the library most often are seeking entertaining programming, using public computers, and doing genealogical research. This branch also houses a passport acceptance facility where passport photos can be taken and passport applications can be processed in-house. This facility also hosts an annual jazz series and film festivals. The Fort Worth Central Branch houses many kinds of information and communication technologies. Collection materials include entertainment and instructional videos on DVD, books on CD, music CDs, and downloadable ebooks and audiobooks. Adapted services and devices for those with disabilities are available. The library also hosts a number of devices including gaming computers, public internet access computers, catalog computers, printers, photocopying and scanning machines, digital screens for in-house advertising, 3D printers, device charges for multiple types of devices, free Wi-Fi, and tablets are all available within the library. The library also houses collaborative spaces with presentation software and projectors, up to 15 individual laptops which can be used for programming purposes, and a computer lab which hosts basic computing classes. Special devices which can preserve archival materials are also available, including machines that can do VHS to digital transfers, audio cassette to digital transfers, and vinyl record to digital transfer. The library also provides access to software applications such as Microsoft Office, Adobe Photoshop Suite, and Dreamweaver, among others. The library also maintains social media accounts, databases on its website, and historic newspapers which are available to access on microfilm within the library. We'll now discuss our library's different strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. First, the strengths. With a staff of 80, the number of people able to take on projects and handle assignments at this branch is one of our biggest strengths. The size of the branch is also another strength at 243,000 square feet. This facility has room to host a substantial materials collection, event spaces, and also houses special services like their genealogy center and passport processing facility. Collection materials in Spanish and Vietnamese are a strength, especially for this area, as well as programming rooms with laptops available for basic computer classes and help labs. Community partnerships are another strength, with many organizations in the area interested in partnering to help underserved populations. The library's jazz series and film festivals are another strength, as they bring in large numbers of community members who might not otherwise be exposed to the library. ESL classes taught at the library help to bring in underserved populations and familiarize them with the location and staff. One of this location's weaknesses is the distance from suburban dwellers, especially teens and senior citizens. These populations have less mobility and are much less likely to travel to the central branch. For teens and seniors in our target populations, specifically immigrants and non-English speakers, it will be more difficult to provide services for them at this location. Technology plan goals that can help to overcome this weakness and increase mobility of services will be particularly helpful. For opportunities, there's always room for improvement in providing services to populations consisting of immigrants and those for whom English is not their first language. Making new technologies accessible to these populations will help to increase education and opportunities for them. As far as threats go, funding always presents a challenge to libraries, and at a location as large as this, there are many different divisions and departments needing their own allocation of funds. Technology is also constantly changing, and keeping up with new technologies, both in physical presence at the library and in staff training, will always present a challenge. Developments in policy planning can also be slow in coming from the Board of Trustees. Hopefully, our technology plan will help us to overcome some of these obstacles.
The target audience for our technology plan are the Fort Worth Library immigrants. Through our belief in and mandate for social justice, we discovered that the immigrants in the city of Fort Worth have needs that the library can provide. We also believe in diversity and helping and being aware and understanding isolated people so that we can help and serve them. We discovered that many immigrants have limited resources and access to technology. We also discovered that they experience many challenges communicating in their language and understanding English, so that they can express their wants and needs. We determined that this was an underserved population when we discovered that many immigrants coming to the ESL classes do not utilize the library for anything other than their weekly class. When we started to see new faces in the lobby, going straight into their ESL classes, we wondered why we never saw these people again in the library. We decided to ask the ESL class leaders to help us survey these immigrants. We set up a survey and linked it to the website and ESL class, as well as a few other social media platforms such as Facebook and Twitter. We asked them in the survey if they would be willing to participate in focus groups or special interviews to further assess their needs. Through the results of the survey and the focus group interviews, we discovered that many immigrants are unaware of the library resources, or even if they could even use the library. Most thought that the ESL classes were taught at the library, but that you couldn't go in to the real library unless you were a member or paid a fee. Also, we discovered that many had trouble understanding basic English used by the librarians or the library signs, and therefore did not feel confident using the space. Also, many do not have the technology literacy necessary to utilize their computers, our computers or catalogs or downloadables. The needs of this group are great, as they are seeking help in online sources for their very survival. They are searching for housing, for job information, for government form help, for health information, and for social connections, as often these immigrants are very isolated. Our technology plan will help provide immigrants with the security net for their lives and for their existence in our library and in our city. The technology plan is aimed to first build their trust in our organization as a library that can help them, and more importantly, a library that wants to help them and are excited about them coming and learning in our spaces. Secondly, the plan addresses the need for communication in more than one language by providing resources and help in Spanish. Thirdly, the library technology plan provides them with the training they need to succeed here as residents in our community. Finally, we are looking for social inclusion opportunities with our plan to integrate them into the library by utilizing their gifts, skills, talents, and interests to improve our overall programming. This will promote their own self-worth and dignity and confidence as they struggle to overcome their challenges in this new life experience in our city. Here are just a few of the immigrant stories that we were able to capture through our focus group interviews. Lydia said, "I heard that the library was a good place to find helpful things, so it was the first place I came to when I got here." Carlos said, "I need help finding a job, and the library plans to teach people job skills and hiring, so this will be a good project for me. I have a new family and I don't like being a burden to anyone else for supporting them." Sunju says, "I'm so very happy to help the library with translations and showing people where to find things, since I now know better how to understand the American process. It's so hard to come here alone as a student with little English, and so I want to be able to help others find these great information at the library." Robert said, "My family's looking for a safe place to bring our children to play without feeling so different from everyone else." Anne said, "I want a place to practice my English conversations." Arturo said, "My mother needs medical care, and I'm required to file online forms that are confusing me, and I need the library's help." Jorge said, "For my class, it is required that I have books and not just web sources, so I need the library to help me find these." Felix said, "I love the library people here, and everyone makes me feel happy that I'm not rejected, but that I can be special too." Kim said, "When my children meet others at the library who speak our Spanish language, they want to come back." Eduardo said, "I want to offer to share my recipes for my homeland dishes, like maybe starting a cooking class."
Here's the project plan for the Fort Worth, Texas Central Branch Library. I created the project plan on Trello and I divided everything by sections. I first made a summary of the Central Branch Library. I included the demographics of the patrons that attend our library, just so we knew what kind of services we could offer broadly. The Fort Worth Central Branch Library is part of the largest in the Fort Worth system with 243,777 square feet with 80 staff members, and many of the divisions of the Fort Worth's library system are housed in this branch. We found that the most frequent users are young professionals and families with young children, and the least frequent users are teens and senior citizens because the more suburban branches are closest to them. The users that visit this library most often are seeking entertaining programming, using the public computers, and doing genealogical research. This particular branch also houses a passport acceptance facility where you can take passport photos and complete passport applications. The facility also hosts many fun events such as an annual jazz series and film festivals, and their website also includes nearby dining, nightlife, and parking areas. Our target audience for this technology plan is the immigrant population of the city of Fort Worth, and especially those who have limited resource and access to technology. The very needs of this group are great as they are seeking help and online sources for their very survival, such as housing, job information, government form help, health information, and for social connections. Through the use of the survey, link is below, and the different ways that we can offer this survey, we discovered that many immigrants are unaware of the library resources or even if they could use a library. On the main Trello board, I decided to separate our goals into 3 categories where we could easily see and visualize them. One of the strategic goals is to serve a multilingual population, so we'll need to incorporate goals to support community members within all languages. We want to improve services for immigrants and non-English speakers, increase the access to technology opportunities for immigrants and non-English speakers, as well as increase number of patrons to access all aspects of the library confidently. One of the objectives would be to find ways to serve people that speak other languages. We would like to make the library multilingual and cultural, as well as what the staff can do to help. Some of the activities to achieve Objective 1 to make the library multilingual and cultural would be to offer ESL classes, include staff members that are fluently bilingual or at least conversationally fluent. We could have a program that highlights different countries of origin and cultures with books, arts, food, and activities. And we can find partnerships within our local community to share resources and assistance for immigrants through churches, schools, different refugee or resettlement organizations, as well as locally owned ethnic businesses and restaurants. Many of the activities to achieve Objective 2 to offer assistance from the library and staff would be to have them become a part of our patrons' cultures, such as having them learn some basic conversational skills in another language, as well as recruiting bilingual students at many different local colleges, having different multi-language authors to come share their books and thoughts, as well as increasing library materials in different languages and cultures. The objective to aid our patrons in becoming more involved in their community and to build social trust would be to offer non-judgmental assistance with legal and governmental paperwork, as well as have inclusion and immersion groups. Some of the activities to achieve the objective to offer a non-judgmental assistance with legal and government paperwork without imposing any kind of fear of ICE or deportation. We could hire many first and second generation immigrants as staff members of our library, as well as partnering up with immigration attorneys and many of our community members to share resources and assistance for the immigrants so that they can become fully immersed within our community and use all aspects of the library. Some of the activities to have an inclusive and immersive group would be to have ethnic discussion or book groups, have the library staff attend many local festivals to market the library and our services, as well as encourage members of immigrant communities to contribute to many collaborative programming. This will have our immigrant and non-English speaking community members become full patrons of the library and feel included within their community. To increase access to technology through the education and familiarity with technology, what technology can we offer? We can acquire non-traditional library materials for checkout, such as Chromebooks, tablets, e-readers with instructions in multiple languages. We can offer either group or one-on-one classes for computer usage, especially in Microsoft Office, as well as resume building and effective interview skills, as well as STEM-related programming and coding classes for various age groups within multiple languages. How can we offer the technology and assistance for our patrons? We can hire a member of our staff that will be proficient in these technology classes and technology systems. We can have a special computer learning lab. We can acquire STEM-related software for educational programming, as well as portable tablets, laptops, and e-readers to be checked out by our patrons, as well as offering classes how to use them if necessary. The classes that we can offer, either a group setting or one-on-one, we can create different children's and teen coding classes using an online coding software that will be available for free through websites, or we can schedule the classes after school and on weekends. We can have classes on resume building and effective interview skills so that our immigrant and non-English speaking members of community will feel confident enough to learn the skills that they need to make it forward in life. And we can also acquire STEM-related programming, as I had mentioned before, for the various age groups within multiple languages so that they feel confident using the technology that is so necessary in today's society. To evaluate all objectives and goals will be done through many qualitative surveys for our patrons as well as our staff members. After a period of time of implementation, we can evaluate everything through the use of translation software tracking, as well as surveys being offered during and after each activity so that we can make any necessary adjustments. All of these evaluations will be done in sections of before, during the implementation, as well as after, so we can do comparisons and make the necessary changes to continue as well as improve our programs so that we can better serve all of our society.
Hello everyone, my name is Raven and I am going to discuss the staffing and training portion of my group's technology plan. This portion includes both employment and volunteer opportunities. The employment listings allow us to seek out candidates who have specialized skills. One of the job listings is for a cultural liaison librarian, and this listing requests someone who either speaks Spanish or has a strong willingness to learn Spanish. Not only do the employees enrich the library with their skills, but we're also able to invest in their skill set, with Spanish classes as an example, to further enrich the library services as a whole. The volunteer listings allow for community members to connect with and bond with one another. And as a group, we decided that community trust is an important component in our project plan, and having members of the community work together to help other members adjust is one way to establish that trust across a community. There are two job listings in our technology plan. One of the job listings is for an access services librarian, and this position manages the technological aspects of the library, like ordering, circulating tech, laptops, tablets, etc., managing library networks, and hardware and software. In addition to that, this position continually researches the latest tech developments and trends and implements them so that the library can remain relevant to its users. This position also hires, trains, and oversees the library assistants and volunteers who interact with whose positions involve tech interaction. The second job listing is for a cultural liaison librarian, and this position serves as a bridge between non-English speakers and the community at large. The cultural liaison librarian works to understand the cultures of various Spanish-speaking populations, so understanding the uniqueness of Mexican culture versus Guatemalan culture, and so on. And they encourage cultural exchange and understanding between all communities, whether they're immigrants or local, within the Fort Worth area. This position also maintains the Spanish-speaking immigrant population focus group so that they can best understand and address this specific population's needs. There are also two volunteer positions in our technology plan. Both of the volunteer opportunities focus on assisting patrons in the use of the different technology offered by the library. One of the positions works one-on-one with homebound patrons, and the other works with small groups and patrons who are physically able to come to the library. Both positions focus again on the Spanish-speaking immigrant populations, so the listings for these volunteer slots specify English-Spanish bilingual candidates. The homebound volunteers may also focus on conversation exchange rather than tech instruction, so that way patrons who are not able to visit the library may still have that opportunity to practice their English language skills with another person.
Hi, my name is Sophia and I'm going to be talking to you today about our technology plan budget. We have a plan to accomplish many different objectives throughout the span of a year to create more inclusive technology and programs within Fort Worth Library for immigrants and non-English speaking patrons. First, as you may have already seen, we are creating two new positions, one of the Access Services Librarian and two the Cultural Liaison Librarian. The Access Services Librarian's primary focus is to enrich information and communication technology development. They will have a role in helping create and add new technologies to our collection in order to expand learning for all. The Cultural Liaison Librarian's primary job is to be a bridge in creating relationships with non-English speaking patrons. They will be coordinating and creating programs that benefit immigrants whose first language may not be English. Both of these positions will be vital in helping patrons receive the help they are looking for or directing them to who can help them. We have created a starting salary of $66,000 for both positions to be reconsidered as the project plan and the position itself grows with the changes within Fort Worth Library. Next, we wanted to incorporate Language Lines, which connects with our phone system and offers an instant translator for patrons whose first language is not English. This is an easy way to answer simple questions like what hours we are open, how to access their personal library account online, and when an upcoming program is happening. The budget has allotted for 500 minutes at $3.95 per minute for the first year of our technology plan. We also want to provide hotspots for our community in general, but especially for immigrants due to the fact that they probably cannot afford broadband internet at home due to temporary housing or a variety of other reasons. This opens up the ability to job search, apply for visas, and help with homework within the home during the hours that the library is inaccessible. Mobile Citizen offers the devices at $61 an item plus the cost of $75 one-time setup fee. There's also an additional cost for the data plan, which is paid monthly through our local network services at $10 per month per device. Fort Worth Library intends to add 20 of these into our collection, so it will be $200 a month, and then these devices will be available for a 2-week checkout. Adding 10 Chromebooks to the collection to be available for checkout follows the same idea. We want immigrants to have access to the internet more often, especially as they're going through forms online to complete visa requests and citizenship classes. They will also be available for a 2-week checkout and cost $179 per device. Part of the Access Services librarian and the Cultural Liaison librarian's job is creating and adding instructions in different languages to already existing STEM-type kits and creating new ones that are more cultural specific. This is something we would want them to take charge of and ask patrons what kind of STEM kits they would like to see and then create them based on that information. We have allotted $500 to create these new kits. The last thing we planned to budget for is more world language materials like books and magazines in Spanish and other languages, especially books on how to gain citizenship, how to interview for a new job, computer skills, and so forth. Hopefully, with the help of our 2 new librarians, we can create a robust collection that is useful for immigrants and non-English speaking patrons to make them more comfortable and confident using the library. There's $2,000 available to purchase these types of materials. The grand total for our budget is $141,410. After the first year of the technology plan and reflecting on how well objectives are met, the hope is to show how this money is making a difference in the lives of our immigrant and non-English speaking patrons. Hi, this is Sophia again, and I'm going to be talking about privacy concerns for our technology plan and some ways that we can combat that. There are many privacy concerns we should be considering as we go through with our technology plan. There's a lot of sensitive information regarding citizenship and getting visas that could be collected, and we want to keep our patrons safe. The first thing we can do is install the Tor browser on all of our library computers, which helps to protect the privacy of patrons by blocking surveillance and fighting censorship. By providing this service, we can create a space for immigrants to use the web freely without fear of being traced to a certain IP address. We can also do this by using software like Clean Slate, which cleans the slate of the computer when a user logs off. It does not save downloaded information, logins, and more. This gives people the ability to use the computer and not worry about if someone will be able to view their information when the next user logs on. Privacy and protecting our patrons is a high priority for libraries, and through our technology plan, we want to continue making it so. We want patrons to be able to explore and learn without the restraint of wondering if someone is watching over their shoulder.
All 5 of our team members collaborated on this section regarding future planning to come up with a plan to stay on top of developments that can impact the future of our library. First, we should partner with other organizations in the city, such as city offices, social organizations, health organizations, and other library systems to better meet the needs of immigrants and those who speak other languages. If we align our goals together with these organizations, we can avoid overlap and wasted energy, and instead better use and create resources and opportunities for immigrants in our community. We should also partner with immigrants and non-English speakers themselves to utilize their special gifts, perspectives, and talents to improve programming and services to our other patrons. We could enlist immigrants and those who speak other languages to run library tours, programming, and classes to bridge gaps with many in our community. Diversity should be celebrated annually or monthly, highlighting different groups and promoting acceptance, understanding, and unity. As part of their professional development, staff members should look out for and share news and updates about immigration in Fort Worth with staff members. Staff can also complete assignments on a monthly basis to ensure that they are familiar with all services available in the library, especially any available ICT. Monthly assignments could include a review in using microfilm machines, digital transfer devices, scanning equipment, etc. Evaluation of our resources, ICT, and objectives for this technology plan should take place quarterly, and the program should be adjusted based on the ongoing results of those evaluations. We can send out surveys with the new materials obtained through this technology plan and adjust our services based on feedback. We should also continue with monthly focus groups throughout the year to be sure we have fully identified the needs of this underserved group and to watch for additional needs. We should also find a way to preserve and document the efforts of this project and share it openly with other organizations that might be thinking of doing the same type of project. In this Lessons Learned section, we'll talk about ICT we used for the project, our project plan, and what each of us learned in working on this project. In working on this group project, we used quite a few different types of ICT, including Canvas's discussion boards, the Big Blue Button conference software on Canvas, SurveyMonkey, Google Docs, Trello, PowerPoint, Prezi, email, and Excel. Most of these products worked very well for us, but a few team members ran into issues which they will discuss in just a moment. Our project plan went something like this. Our first objective was to introduce ourselves to each other and share assignments we had completed for class in the discussion board of our group on Canvas. We created a survey in SurveyMonkey to see what the majority of group members wanted to do as far as our target organization, the organization's community, and target population. We also shared what times we could meet as a group. For our meetings, we used the Big Blue Button software in the conferences area of Canvas, and the software was surprisingly easy to use. We recorded each meeting for members to review or in case someone needed to miss a meeting. During our first meeting, we created a Google Doc where we could work together on this project. We agreed on a meeting schedule and discussed in detail the first three components: background, target audience, and project plan. Over the following week, each team member was asked to share ideas and suggestions for these three components. At our second meeting, we examined more in depth the first three components and agreed on what the details for each of these should be. We then went through the project plan and came up with specific goals and objectives. We assigned the first 5 components to each of the 5 team members, and for the following week they were asked to work on their assigned components. At our third meeting, we agreed that Raven would compile the finalized written plan and Brianne would compile the finalized presentation. We discussed the first 5 components that each of us had worked on and outlined the second 5 components. Over the following week, each team member was asked to contribute at least 2 to 3 details or pieces of information under each of components 6 through 10. At our fourth meeting, we set out a timeline for our final week to polish off our sections, add feedback to everyone else's sections, incorporate that feedback, and to finalize our written work and create a presentation on our assigned sections. Raven took everyone's completed written work and compiled the final written technology plan. Brianne, that's me, took the finalized presentations and compiled the Prezi presentation. In our final meeting, we discussed the written technology plan and presented and examined them for inconsistencies and errors, and checked everything according to project instructions. Final feedback was submitted to Brianne and Raven by Monday evening when final changes were made and our presentations were submitted. The biggest lesson I'm taking away from this assignment is the importance of breaking down a big project into manageable chunks. When we felt intimidated, the only way forward was to find logical ways to break the assignment up into smaller pieces and then handle those smaller pieces individually or one at a time. It has also helped to have great team members, which has only reinforced my theory that library people are great people. Heidi, Sophia, Raven, and Patricia have been great team members on this project.
Hi, this is Sophia again. When looking back at what I've learned through this group project, I find myself amazed at all the ways we can accomplish creating a presentation without ever having to meet in person. That is probably what intimidated me the most about this technology plan project, was that we were going to have to be creative in how we were going to gather information and how to keep in contact. Thankfully, I had some great teammates and I learned so much about the different ways we can provide new tools and technologies for immigrant populations. It was eye-opening and everyone worked so well together.
This group technology plan was a great lesson learning. situation for me. First of all, since I grew up in a rural mountainous area, and now I work and live in the New Hampshire White Mountains, I rarely serve or even have seen or see immigrants on a regular basis. Therefore, I learned so much about them in this project. I did a lot of research looking into the struggles and the challenges to serve this underserved population, and I'm so thankful that our group chose immigrants as our target population, even though I didn't know much about them. I believe in libraries promoting social justice and helping these groups, and I feel better prepared to serve patrons from other countries now, even here in northern New England. Second, I am, by nature, a bit of an introvert and a loner, so working in a group was a little daunting at first. I was nervous about it. However, I'm so delighted to be teamed up with Brianne, Raven, Sophia, and Patricia, and have found them to be wonderful teammates. I found that instead of being overwhelmed by the project, I was motivated and inspired by them and their contributions. I see how much better we can accomplish things together as opposed to all of us trying to do the project separately. And I'm less reluctant now and more encouraged to participate in teams in my own profession. Third, to my surprise, I found the team tools we use extremely practical and easy. I'm usually an old school tech person and I get afraid of these new things. So I'm glad I experienced these different forms of communicating and working together. I especially liked the big blue button times that we came together to plan together. The fourth item is I did a project presentation introduction with my iPad, and it was a bit of a fail, as it was only 2 to 3 minutes long, but it took me 2 to 3 hours to actually get it recorded and then sent to my computer and then sent to the others and then to the team, and some of them didn't get it on the email, so that was hard for me. And then I had to do it all over again. But it was a good lesson, and I'm better at it now. So overall, it was an excellent project, and I'm so thankful for Brianne and Raven and Patricia and Sophia and all that they did to help bring this plan together. And I think we had a great success and a great team. So thank you.
During this project, I used the Canvas Collaborate feature for the first time. So I learned about that, and it was really interesting because it seems pretty user-friendly and really easy to use. And so I wonder why some of my classes use Blackboard Collaborate instead of just using the Canvas Collaborate feature, because it is so simple, but I don't know. I also explored some different aspects of Microsoft Word for this project. I've never created an automatic table of contents before, and it was really easy, but I didn't realize that I have to update the table each time that I wanted to see my changes reflected, or each time that I wanted to see the head of the table. So I was a little confused about that at first, but once I figured it out, everything else came pretty easily. And during this project, I also learned that the project plan itself wasn't as scary as I thought it would be. I was a little bit worried what the group project would look like, but my group was really great and we all seemed to work together pretty easily. So it turned out really well and not nearly as scary as I thought it would be.
Here you can see our references that we consulted as we worked on this project. This list is also included in our written project plan. Listed here are our appendices for this project. Heidi created a survey on SurveyMonkey for our target population and created a comprehensive report of the survey results as well. Also linked is the Trello board which Patricia created for the project plan. A full transcript of this presentation is also available at the link provided. Links to all of these appendices are also available from our written technology plan. Thank you very much for your consideration of our project plan. We hope to better serve the immigrant and non-English speaking populations of Fort Worth, and that the changes outlined in this plan will help to improve their lives and make better futures possible.